Hey Hot Rods fans, we welcome you to another preseason edition of the Hot Rods Tune-Up. I'm the Hot Rods broadcaster, Hank First, and we welcome you to Bowling Green Ballpark this week. Hot Rods baseball will return to these parts in less than 2 months, and we're certainly fired up about that. We'll start with Citizens First opening night on April 8th. Less than 2 months away, and we certainly want to remind you to go ahead and start making your plans for that night. If you have season tickets or a mini plan, you have tickets already for that night, but certainly go ahead and make plans if you want to attend the 5th opening day in Bowling Green Hot Rods history here in downtown BGKY. We'll of course have fireworks that night, and we're very fired up about the 5th season of baseball kicking off on April 8th against the Lansing Lugnuts, the future Toronto Blue Jays. That being said, there's obviously a lot of good prime dates in April, May, and June, and as we have been reminding you every week in the Hot Rods Report, the official newsletter that goes out once a week for the Hot Rods, those dates are starting to fill up fast. So if you're interested in maybe coming out in our party deck, in our home run grill, or maybe a suite, you certainly want to go ahead and check out those dates first, because they will be the ones that will fill up fast. Speaking of filling up fast, the Hot Rods Education Days are on the calendar for 2013. We have 4 in April and May this school year. They are day games that begin at 10:35 a.m. and are great ways for schools to bring out kids for field trips. And if you know of your son or daughter and may be interested in this and can mention it to their teacher or principal to go ahead and get them set up for an education day, we can certainly take over from there as long as you let us know, and we'll make sure that all the information gets dispersed for our education days this year. But as we always say, there's nothing like day baseball in downtown Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we're fired up about those education days this year. Speaking of baseball, there's certainly plenty of that to talk about. Pitchers and catchers have reported. The Rays pitchers and catchers reported yesterday down in Port Charlotte, Florida at the Charlotte Sports Complex. And we're fired up to report that 11 former Hot Rods are going to be participating in Tampa Bay Rays camp this year. Those are pitchers, infielders, outfielders, catchers, 11 former players that have worn a Bowling Green Hot Rods uniform, and will be playing with the Rays in the spring before they make their cuts and round out their Major League Baseball opening day roster for the early part of April. 15 total former Hot Rods are representing in the ranks of the big league camps. Of course, we've had some Hot Rods make some moves to other organizations via trades and the Rule 5 draft this offseason. Derek Dietrich, Jake Jeffries, and Braulio Lara are participating in camp with the Miami Marlins. And of course, Kyle Lobstein, a Rule 5 selection of the Detroit Tigers, he is in their camp this spring training. So we wish those 4 former Hot Rods who are no longer a part of the Rays all the best of luck as they try to make that big league roster when camp wraps up in the end of March. Want to make sure that you remember to check out the Hot Rods Tune-Up blog. It's bghotrods.mlblogs.com. That is going to cover some of the baseball side of things as the Hot Rods make their preparations for opening day, and that blog will continue on in 2013. It's the place to check out all the Hot Rods interviews, post-game highlights, game notes, and the like, and that's bghotrods.mlblogs.com. It's the Hot Rods Tune-Up blog. This week, we're previewing what catchers, rather that was last week, previewing what catchers are going to report to Bowling Green this year. This week we're checking out what infielders are going to be in Bowling Green this season. Well, we want to wrap up this preseason edition of the Tune-Up by wishing all significant others out there a very happy Valentine's Day. Or maybe those that have forgotten, Valentine's Day is tomorrow night. So be sure to check it out, and we'll see you next week back for another preseason edition of the Tune-Up right here at Bowling Green Ballpark and at bghotrods.com.